What's up, Lakers Nation? This is Trevor Lane, senior writer for LakersNation.com, and this is the Lakers Nation news feed. We're going to be talking a bit about Carmelo Anthony and yet another rumor linking him to your Los Angeles Lakers. Don't freak out, don't panic just yet. I know Carmelo Anthony isn't a hot name right now, and a lot of people aren't thrilled with the idea of him joining the Lakers, but we're going to dive into this topic in just a moment. First, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Vivid Seats, who is the official ticket reseller of LakersNation.com. Head over to the Vivid Seats app in your phone and use the promo code LakersNation in all caps and get 10% off tickets to your next Lakers game. Okay, so Sam Amick and Joe Vardon of The Athletic recently put out a report suggesting that Carmelo Anthony is going to be continuing his NBA career. We haven't heard from Carmelo Anthony in quite a while. The Houston Rockets decided to tell him, hey, you're not going to be part of the team anymore. We're keeping you on the roster. You're still going to get your pay, but go home, Melo. You're not going to be playing. And, of course, he was a big signing for them this summer, and they lost Trevor Ariza and Luc Richard and Mamute, and they brought in Carmelo Anthony, and it just didn't work. Didn't work at all, and so Houston decided, hey, we're gonna scrap this and just send Melo home. So that's where he's been ever since, and the thought has been that the Houston Rockets were going to use his salary, perhaps in a trade. Well, this report says that Carmelo has multiple options in front of him, and that he just has to pick one before the February 7th trade deadline. So maybe there's a trade floating out there that they could complete for Carmelo Anthony. The Houston Rockets could. Perhaps there's some sort of a buyout situation. Whatever the case, Carmelo Anthony has multiple options on the table that would allow him to continue his NBA career. Interesting, sure, but where does the Lakers part come in? Well, the Lakers are still, according to Joe Vardon and Sam Amick, still the team most frequently linked to Carmelo Anthony. And a lot of this link comes back to LeBron James, who's good friends with Carmelo, that he's been seen going out to dinner with him. LeBron has talked about wanting to play with Carmelo Anthony and believing that he still has something left and all of that. So there's a natural link. But according to this report, the sticking point or the problem, or at least one of the problems, is the Lakers roster. As of right now, ever since the Lakers added Tyson Chandler after the Phoenix Suns waived him, the Lakers have not had an open roster spot. And so back when the Lakers had an open roster spot, maybe this would have made a lot of sense. But this report suggests that the fact that the Lakers don't have a roster spot is a big obstacle in this. It's a big problem. And you look at the Lakers roster, right? You assume, hey, they would have to waive someone. If Carmelo Anthony was just a free agent, he's not tied to any team, he's not a Houston Rocket, they would have to waive someone in order to pick him up. So who are you going to waive? Is it Isaac Bonga? Sure, we don't see much of him, but he's 18 years old. He showed potential in the G League. The Lakers traded in order to get the pick to select Isaac Bonga, so they've got some belief in him. They have some faith in him. He's an intriguing player, right? He's super long, super tall for being able to handle the basketball. Got a really interesting skill set. They're probably not going to waive him. Right, so you're certainly not getting rid of Mo Wagner. You're certainly not getting rid of Svi Mikhailuk, who are actually getting minutes with the Lakers. You're not going to waive Ivica Zubac, especially after the night that he just had against Oklahoma City Thunder. You're not getting rid of him at this point. He's been playing too well. Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee are both necessary, even though they're on small veteran contracts. They're both still very much needed on this team. Even maybe you look at Michael Beasley, whose name popped up a few times when he was away from the team for so long because, out of sight, out of mind. But Michael Beasley provides pretty much what you would expect Carmelo Anthony to if they were to land him, and that's instant scoring off the bench. Michael Beasley has been doing that and has been pretty successful at it. So you look at this Lakers roster and you look at the spots that they've got, every single player has been providing something to this team or has some real value. There's nowhere that you look at and you just say, hey, this guy isn't really doing much. We could swap him out with Carmelo, give him a shot, see if it works, see if something sticks. Maybe Carmelo has a little something left in the tank, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's nobody that you're really okay with just releasing like that. So then what would need to happen? Well, the Lakers would need to make a trade. If the Lakers don't want to just let any of these guys go, maybe they find a trade. Maybe there's something like that in the works that they use to bring in Carmelo Anthony. Now, do you make a trade just to bring in Melo? Like, do you take a player and ship him off for, say, a second-round pick or something like that, just so that you have room to bring in Carmelo Anthony. I don't know. I don't know that Carmelo Anthony is the piece that's going to put the Lakers up to the next level. I don't think that he's the guy that's going to push you to the next tier. Now, that being said, I also don't think that Carmelo Anthony is nothing. I don't think that he has zero left in the tank at this point, and I actually think that in the right role, he could be just fine. All right, it's up to Carmelo Anthony to accept that he's no longer a superstar player, he's no longer a top scorer in the league, and understand that he would have to fit into a system and fit into a very specific role. And that's not an easy transition to make. It's not. But you look at what Vince Carter has done. Vince Carter has done that very, very well. He's accepted that now he's a role player in this league, and look at him. He's, 41 years old, and he's still playing. Carmelo Anthony has not shown the ability yet to come to that realization or make peace with that reality. And again, that's difficult to do. A lot of players are probably going to wind up retiring instead of just toiling away on the end of somebody's bench. But if Carmelo Anthony wants to continue his career, and if he wants to come to the Los Angeles Lakers, it would behoove him to understand those things. If he can play a very certain role, and in that role I'm talking about hitting the corner threes, which he can do. He's not a bad shooter from that corner three. Occasionally being a bailout player on the offensive end. He can still actually score fairly well late in the shot clock. You can give him the ball and let him go. And the Lakers don't have a lot of guys that can do that. So there is some value to Carmelo Anthony. I'm not saying he's the same Melo he was before or anything like that, because he's certainly not. Because Father Time catches up to all of us. It's just what happens. But I'm not totally down on Carmelo Anthony. I'd be okay with giving him a shot, but I don't think I'd be okay with giving him a shot if it meant just letting go of one of these young pieces, letting go of one of the guys the Lakers have under contract. And it seems like that's where the Lakers are at as well. So maybe there's a trade that pops up. Maybe there's something that the Lakers do where they get a real tangible asset in exchange for one of their players. They get some sort of a pick. They get something that they can use moving forward. And then they've got an open roster spot, and then you make some sort of a move in order to bring in Carmelo Anthony. Maybe that's what Melo is waiting for, is for something to happen where a team that he wants to go to has an open roster spot. And we know the clock is ticking here. The February 7th trade deadline is inching closer. It's going to be here before we know it. But it sounds like there should be some sort of action here from Carmelo Anthony at or before the trade deadline, at least according to this report. And again, the Lakers are the team that are most often linked with Carmelo, so he could wind up becoming a Los Angeles Laker. Just right now, how that happens isn't clear, and I don't think that he's the guy that the Lakers move mountains to bring in. I just don't think that he's that piece at this point. But again, who knows? Carmelo Anthony could wind up being a Los Angeles Laker. And I would just caution everybody, hey, if something does go down and Carmelo winds up on your Los Angeles Lakers, give him a chance before we all panic, before everybody freaks out. I know that the reaction on social media to Carmelo Anthony is not positive right now because everybody thinks of Carmelo Anthony as a dinosaur-type player, a guy who plays an old style of basketball that doesn't exist in the NBA anymore and lives off of the mid-range jumper. I still have some faith in Carmelo Anthony that he could be a positive asset in this league as long as he fits within a certain role. And again, not easy, but hey, it could happen. All right, guys, that's the latest on the Carmelo Anthony situation. Nothing happening just yet, but the Lakers continue to be linked to him. And hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe there's something brewing here. We'll find out in the next few weeks before the trade deadline. My name's Trevor Lane. You can follow me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane. Make sure you head over to LakersNation.com, your home for everything Lakers, for all your latest breaking Lakers news. And head over to the Lakers Nation YouTube channel. Find us on Instagram at Lakers Nation Official. Find us on Twitter at Lakers Nation. And, of course, the Lakers Nation Facebook page as well. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Till next time. See ya.